Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of One Handy Guy. That's me. Anyway, today I wanted to go over just a short video tutorial with Fusion 360 that even a beginner could take this and design and build something on their own. So I know I've talked about in previous videos this fixture table that I just recently built, and wanted to go over a couple of things with you and show you before we get into the design process in Fusion 360. But anyway, I bought a bunch of these little screw down clamps from Build Pro on Amazon so that I get a good clear picture of that. These are pretty neat. They got ball bearings in them. You can see they're flexible, and as you screw this down, it pushes those ball bearings out and creates a lock, so they won't go anywhere after they're screwed down tight. And when they're not, they're flexible and they just slide right in the hole. No problem at all. You notice I got a lot of slop here. That's a different explanation. We might go into that in a different video. But anyway, when I had this table designed, I asked the guys down at the steel place to make 5/8 inch holes, and they asked me if I want them just a little bit bigger, and I should have said no, but they made them a little bigger, and now it fits more of a 11/16 here. I don't know if you can see that, but it fits more of an 11/16 design. I had to remake all my fixtures to fit them in, but these will work just fine with what we're trying to do. The only issue, and I don't know if I can get a good clear picture here. Let's go back here where you can kind of see. So if I drop that in and tighten this up all the way, you can see I've got a long way to go before that's going to lock. To be exact, it's about 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to design some squares where I can square up my whatever I happen to be welding together, and I'm going to just put a lip on it similar to a speed square. And I got to create some holes in my new squares. I'm going to need 4 of them. So I'm going to have to design something, and I want it to where it's going to be tight on this and will fit loosely through the table. So let me just unscrew this, and I did a little chart here, kind of shows you different sizes ranging anywhere from 7/16 on up to 11/16. And these are the 32nd counterparts. So you can see this is supposed to fit a 5/8. If we push those ball bearings all the way in, and I push that in the 5/8, I still got a lot of slop. But if I take that down instead of a 5/8 and take it to a 20/32, which is that hole right above the 5/8, a 19/32, then I get a much tighter fit. So, and that's because of the kerf of the plasma cutter. So the way I do my cuts, I have a 0-degree plunge where it comes straight in on the line, and that the width of the curve for that plasma cutter is a little over a 1/16. So I found that if I make my cuts just a 32nd smaller, they tend to fit perfect. So we're going to take and make all of our cuts to fit that 19/32 mark as opposed to on a 5/8. So anyway, I hope that helps you understand what I'm trying to do. So let's get right into it, and we're going to open up Fusion 360, and we're going to start with the design process. So we've got Fusion 360 open. First thing I want to do is create a new design. We're in the design section, and the first thing I want to do is create a new design. Then we always go into this quadrant over here, not this upper quadrant, but this one, and click here to start a new design. And your screen should look just like that. I'm going to pull it over here and shrink it down just a little bit, because we're going to do a 12x12 triangle, and then we're going to insert some holes that I'll be able to peg it down to the table. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we want to do is go up here to a 2-point rectangle, and we'll start down here in the bottom close to the corner, and we'll just start up, and all we got to do is hit 12 inches that way, tab over, 12 inches that way. Alright, so we're good to go there. My next step in the process, I want to create some holes going up and down both sides. So let's go ahead and draw one of our holes. and we'll be able to move this. We're just going to start one, and like I said, we're going to make this hole 19-30 seconds. If we made it 20-30 seconds, that would be 5/8. So we're just going to make it 19-30 seconds, and that'll be our first hole. And I want to leave myself some room to be able to weld onto the edges there, so I'm just going to kind of blow this up a little and eyeball it and see if I can get my first hole about where I want it, which I think about right there looks good. And then I'm going to take and draw me a construction line going up and down that I want to put my other holes into. So let's come over here to the line, and all we got to do is check right here to get a construction line. That's a line that's just, we're going to draw it, but it's not going to cut it. So we're going to draw a line across here and double click, and then we're going to come down this way, and we want to stay centered, so we're going to click it right there, come up, make sure it's still, let's get it on our, we don't have any degrees, we're at 90 degrees right there and 12 inches, so we'll stop right there. So that's going to be the line that I'm going to draw my holes on. So let's swap it off of construction line. Let's go back and create some more circles here that are 19-30 seconds. And I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to want. I'm going to space them on 2-inch centers here in a minute, because that's what my table is. So I'm just going to randomly put them in here for right now. And I guess I could put them at 4-inch intervals, but we'll just stick to this right now. And just bear with me while I draw these out. Alright, and then I'm going to take my little measuring tool here just to see kind of where we're at. So I'm going to measure from the center of that one to the center of that one. And you'll notice that says 1 inch. I want 2 inches. Whoops, didn't want it to go that way. So we're going to spread this out a little further to get that to go where we want it to go. So let's scoot these on down. Get them out of our way. Something's pulling that one back. I'm not sure what's going on there, but let's just keep rolling this way. And it appears like that one's not really on my thing, so I'm going to delete that one and create another one. So let's go back here and start it right there. 19-30 seconds. Okay, now let's try again and see if we can get our spacing correct. So let's click there, come down. Let's put 2 inches. There we go. That's doing what I want it to do. Now we're going to go from there to there. Make that one 2 inches. And let's click from this one to this one. Come down, and we'll make that one 2 inches. And it looks like we got room for maybe one more. So let's go ahead and draw one in. 19-30 seconds, and we'll do the same thing to get our spacing correct. So we're going to move from that one to that one, come down and hit 2 inches. Alright, now we need to go the other way. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll just kind of guess about where that is. 19-30 seconds. Let's get our spacing correct on that. Go 2 inches. Let's draw another one up here. And I'm sure there's a faster way to do this. And like I said, I'm still learning Fusion 360 myself, so just trying to do it the way that I know how to do best. And if somebody out there can tell me a better way, I'd be happy to change it up and try a little smoother way. So I think we got a couple more to throw in here. Let's get our spacing on that correct. And one more. And I'm going to try and stay away from the corners because I'm going to create a triangle out of this thing here in a minute. Alright, so there we have it. We got all of our spacing, all of our circles where we want them. Next thing I'm going to do is turn the dimensions off so I can kind of see a little better what I've got going on. Alright, and then the last thing I want to do is just draw a line from this corner up here down to this corner to create our perfect triangle, and then we're going to delete this top part here and here so that what we're going to end up cutting out is a triangle. I don't worry about these construction lines because they're not going to cut out when I go to do my manufacturing process. So I think that looks pretty good. I think that's going to make the kind of square that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as table square. And it will save to my admin projects. I'm going to save that. I want to go ahead and finish the sketch, will be my next process. And that shows that it is finished. So if I tell you what, I'm going to get rid of these construction lines that are outside of the plane. So all I got to do is go back to sketches to here, then hit 2 fingers down and edit it. So all I got to do is go to edit sketch, and let's clip those off real quick just so they don't interfere with anything in the manufacturing process. Alright, so we're going to finish it once again, and it automatically saves it. I don't have to resave it. Now we're going to go down to the manufacturing tab. So we've been in the design, now we're going to go down to the manufacturing tab. So our first process will be to create a setup, and this is where it'll take your post processor that's already been uploaded into Fusion, and it's going to utilize it on how we want to cut it. So first thing it's looking for is the box point, and this is going to be my starting position. I want it to start in that bottom left hand corner. I got to select my machine. Once again, we're using the Razor Weld 45 here in our shop at home. Alright, and that's really the only that, and then of course the sketch itself, the table square. That's all I've got to do for the setup process. So I click OK, and notice I get a green check mark that everything worked out well and it's going to do what I want it to do. Next step is go cutting. Go to the cutting tool. We're going to once again select our machine. So we go to the library, click on the Razor Weld 45. Alright, and notice my default is set to 80 inches per minute. So I'm going to be cutting this out of 5/8, and the best I can tell with the cut chart, I'm going to have to run this at about 12 inches per minute, 12 to 13. So we're going to start with 12 inches per minute, and hopefully that's going to work out good. Alright, so we've got our tool selected, we've picked our speed. Our next is to go to what we're actually going to be cutting out. So we go back over here to models, just keep clicking down till we see our sketch, and click on sketch, and notice how it outlines everything that it's going to cut, and we're good to go there. You don't ever have to worry about the heights if you have a THC controller. The passes, if you look here, I've got my tolerance set at 0.004. My sideways compensation, I'm coming straight down, I'm not coming in from the side. My finishing overlap, you don't necessarily have to do that. I like it just to make sure the part falls out, so I have it overlap the cut, usually about 1/8 of an inch. And then we won't fool with smoothing or feed optimization once again. Don't have to worry about keep nozzle down. Notice my lead-in radius I've got set at 0. My lead-in sweep set at 90, and my lead-in distance set at 0. My pierce clearance also set at 0. So we should all be good there. So we're just going to click OK, and we're good. Our last step in this process is to go ahead and do our G code, which is the NC code, the numerical control code that the machine is going to use to cut it. So we're going to click on that. I'm going to name this table square. And notice over here, just one thing I want to change over here as far as the pierce delay. We're going through 5/8 inch, so I'm going to change this to a 1. as opposed to a 0.5. And that's because it's going to take it a little while longer to get through that. And we'll talk about that later. If you have any questions, just email me and I'll see what I can do to try and help explain it. So I'm going to give it a full second to pierce through that 5/8 inch steel. All right, and the last thing is just hit post. There's my G code. It's saved in the right spot, so when I take it over to the table to cut it, everything should work good. So I hope that helped you. I hope you guys got a little bit of a grasp on how to design something simple on your own. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I hope you'll subscribe. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me at One Handy Guy.